They were headed to the tomb because their job was to anoint the body, prepare it, to do the last thing they could for the Lord. And of course, when Mary got there, the body was gone. See, I've always had that thought of, from here in our Thursday morning discussion, of having that chance to cheat death. Having that chance to actually read my own obituary has crossed my mind, and I would love to have that opportunity to cheat death. Well, let me tell you today, death for Christ was not cheated. Death defeated death. Christ defeated death through His death and through His resurrection. Now He won victory over the devil. Won victory over sin. Won victory over death. See, too often in this age we hear the skeptics, and they always come out right now. They always try to make their point that there is no way He rose from the dead. No man has ever risen from the dead after being dead for 3 days. There's no way it happened. But it did. They say, oh, well, maybe Simon of Cyrene switched with Him, and Simon was hung on the cross. But wait a minute. His own mother was there, seeing her son crucified. Christ speaking to her, Mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother. They don't know how to answer that. Each time they try and make a speculation, well, maybe the body was stolen. But how do you account for Thomas seeing Him in the upper room? See, every time a skeptic comes out with something trying to disprove our faith, trying to show us that there's a possibility it didn't happen, the Bible proves them wrong. The Bible shows them constantly, time and time again, not just Mary saw the risen Lord, but the disciples and 500 others saw the risen Christ after that glorious Easter morning. You see, too often, we're like Peter and like John. They looked into the tomb. They saw that it was gone, but they simply returned to their homes. They still didn't believe that Christ had truly resurrected until they saw it in the upper room. Mary saw Him, and she went back and reported to Him, and they said, the disciples were all gathered and said, we won't believe it until we see it. And then, of course, Christ appears in the upper room. And what's so incredible is that there's a man from around the time of 4000 BC that knew he would see the risen Lord. I cannot believe that a single word I will speak will be known 100 years from now, let alone 6,000 years from now. But a man spoke words you're going to sing in the song before communion that are so simple, but so powerful. 6,000 years. Think of this. There are no words from any man you know other than this one time, 6,000 years ago, that hold true today. That held true 4,000 years prior to it happened, and it were the words of Job. He said, oh, that my words were recorded, that they were written on a scroll, that they were inscribed with iron tool on lead, or engraved for rock forever. No, His words weren't engraved in rock. They were engraved in eternity with, I know that my Redeemer lives, that in the end He will stand upon the earth, and after my scheme has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I myself will see Him. With my own eyes, I am not another. How my heart yearns within me. And that's my prayer for each of us today. My prayer is that God will give us each the faith of Job. The faith that lasts thousands of years. The faith of knowing without seeing that Christ is risen. Okay, stay with me. Let's do it again. Ready? Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
Amen. Our service now continues with an icing creed. Please stand.
the